Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to the Nick from Australia Late Night Footy Show, episode 2 of the Nick from Australia Late Night Footy Show. We did episode 1 last week. It was a huge success. Everyone had a great time last Saturday night, and we're back again once again tonight. It is currently 10:39 p.m. Hope you guys are doing well on this Saturday night. Tonight I am joined by, as always, NRL Vids 090. Mate, how are you going tonight?
Yeah, I'm going well. I wish there was more footy today, but apart from one game. But yeah, I'm good overall, actually.
Yeah, bro. Well, as you guys may not be aware of, you can see in the background, I've got a bit of a new setup. I'm starting to get things in place with the new, obviously moving into the new house a while back. I'm getting this setup going. I've got the Cowboys flag in the background. I've got the canvas over here somewhere, wherever it's pointed. It's just sitting over there. And, I'll be getting more of this stuff in the future. I'm going to try and get some other NRL teams, like flags and canvases and stuff, and put them in the background of my room. So hopefully we can get a really good setup in this corner of where I am at the moment. But hope you guys are doing well on this Saturday night. It's currently 10:40 p.m. We're going to be talking about some of the games this round so far. We're going to talk about maybe some of the old games back in the day. We're going to go back in time, talk about some of our favourite grand finals and stuff like that. Look, by the way, the show isn't scripted. We just talk about whatever comes to our mind. So whatever comes to our mind is what will be talked about. Exactly. So whatever comes up. We've got Sam Revel from the other night. Last night, he was on the Cowboys Rabbitohs review. He'll be on tonight around 11 p.m. I'll also have Nathan coming on tonight as well, I believe, at some stage. I'm not sure who else is coming on tonight, but here's the other thing I want to mention real quick. If you are a fan of this channel, if you like the channel, if you would like to be on the show tonight, all you have to do is send me a DM on Instagram. I will send you the link from StreamYard. And if you want to come on, have a chat for 5 to 10 minutes and join the show, ask me and NRL Vid 090 some questions. All you have to do, send me a private message on Instagram, download the StreamYard app, and you can come on for 5 to 10 minutes and we can talk some footy with you. But as always, we're going to say hello to the chat. We've got a few people rolling in here. We've got Paddy G in the house. How you going, Paddy G? We've got Sar. I can't pronounce your name, bro, but hope you're well. Warriors and RoyalFanatics is here as always. How you going, brother? We got Faraz Alarms. Dogs so close yet so far. Yes, they were very close tonight. Trainer lost CR, says Doggies didn't win. He supports the Dogs, so unlucky, bro. Always next week. G'day to Fanatics. G'day to Jason. Congratulations to the Roosters tonight, mate. They had a really good win over the Dogs. A very good game of footy. By the way, g'day to Daniel Bate. I'm pretty sure that bloke is from the UK over in England, so I hope you're doing okay. Mate, thanks for tuning in as always. A very loyal fan of the channel. We've got Aussie Mozzie who says Sam Walker's a cat. I'm assuming you're talking about when he ran backwards at the end of the game, which I found absolutely hilarious. Surprised no one else has done that.
That was weird.
Surprised no one else has done that yet, to be honest. Got all NRL. It says, how are you, lads? Absolutely magnificent. Cannot complain one bit. Chamber Videos, he said, I'm still standing. I'm not sure if he's drunk or I don't know what the go is with Chamber Videos, but he's still standing apparently, so that's a good sign, I guess. We got Faraz Alam in the chat saying Manly needed to stop losing without Turbo. It's actually pretty annoying. Yeah, we will mention that tonight as well, so don't worry. We will answer them questions tonight. They will be answered. All NRL, how you going? Minty Rabbitohs in the house. Hey, boys. Daniel, mate, he says, yeah, that's me in England. Absolutely fantastic. And all NRL. Yep, absolutely. Well, got the can of Coke tonight. It wouldn't be a live stream without a can of Coke. So, mate, NRL Vid 090, mate, obviously Thursday night was disappointing for your Seagulls going down to the Raiders there. 30 points to 16, I believe the final score was. Mate, what do you think of Thursday night? Obviously disappointing for Manly, but do you see any positives in that game without Turbo and DCE?
Oh, yeah, there's some. I think at the same time, Hamole Olakawatu, he's definitely establishing himself more in the NRL. his try he got was fantastic. But that try was that was unbelievable. Just that strength to go over to the line, beat Tarpany, beat Xavier Savage, and I think he beat another defender, Hodgson Young. I'm pretty sure. His try was really good, and 4 and was the guy who had to really stand up without DC and without DC and Turbo. And I do think Foz was okay, but I mean, he could have done a bit better, but okay. And look, there wasn't many, but I think there was some like those 2 players who did a pretty good job. I think actually.
Yeah. No, I agree. Look, I'm very confused with the Seagulls. I don't understand it. I mean, they beat the Cowboys by 50 without Turbo a while ago, about 4 weeks ago, I think it was, 3-4 weeks ago. And then they put that performance up against Canberra, who've been sitting in the bottom 4 most of the year. So Canberra was still a chance for that top 8. So I was a little bit surprised on how poor Manly were. But I'm with you about Olakau'atu. He is a very, very good prospect coming through. I think he's pretty much I'm pretty confident in saying that Olakau'atu has sealed that second row position for Manly. I don't think he has anything to worry about for a while. I think that back row spot's all it is now. He's a great player.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, better than Jack Jetski. I despise Jack Jetski a lot, though. That's another thing I'm pretty angry about in that game.
Yeah, Jack Jetski is a bit of a very ordinary player. I don't know what's happened to Jack Jetski. I mean, you go back to the 2019 finals series.
Yeah.
And that elimination final, rookie, when Manly blew the shots off the park. What's happened to Jetski? It's been terrible, man. I'm disappointed in Jetski. I expected so much better from Jetski.
He's just, I don't know. The thing is, like, in 2019, that final series, he was one of our best players and most informed players. And, like, just, I don't know, ever since 2020, like, he had this back injury, I think, at the start of 2020. And just ever since he had that injury, he hasn't been the same, I think. He's just, I don't know, he's really lost his temper and just his, toughness. I don't know what's going on with him. Definitely doesn't deserve a first grade. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Look, Jetski's dropped form, man. Look, we talk about players getting stale at clubs and not really fitting in. I think it's time for Jack Jetski to move on to a different team, and maybe he will play better at a different side. We've both seen him play really well in the past. He's got a lot of potential. Maybe I think it's time for him to go to a new team, and maybe he can get the best out of. Maybe he'll get the best out of himself at a different side, but. Yeah, look, it's obviously disappointing, but Manly are doing fine. I wouldn't be too worried about first night against Canberra. Canberra were very good. You've got to give credit to them. They played a really, really good game, and I thought they did really well on
definitely.
Canberra. I thought obviously Tom Starling off the bench was very good for him, but I thought Tarpany off the bench. I thought he was man of the match. I thought he was outstanding. What do you think about Tarpany?
Yeah, he was good. I think you can tell when at the early start of the game, Canberra were like really struggling with their go forward, and I think as soon as he came on, he brought that difference in the middle. Like he's just his run meters, and just when he came on, he brought that impact like Ricky probably would have wanted him to bring. And he was good. It was actually he was one of their best players apart from Tom Starling. So he was actually really good. I thought Tarpany.
I'll tell you someone else who I thought was really good in that Manly Canberra game on Thursday night. I thought Josh Hodgson. I thought his control around the ruck was very composed. I thought he had a really, really good game, Hodgson. Now, Hodgson's probably had a very distracted season, I guess you could say. It's been a little bit disappointing because Canberra haven't been the best as we all thought they would be. Everyone thought Canberra would be in the top 6. So when you're expected to do well in the season and you have a big-name player not playing at his best, then the criticism really comes in. Look, I don't know if you will agree with this. I don't know if you will, bro. But when Josh Hodgson is fully fit and when Canberra are playing really well, I rate Hodgson as the best number 9 in the competition. But in saying all that, there is a lot of good number 9s at the moment. But I still rate Hodgson as a very high elite hooker, in my opinion. I still think he's up there with the best.
Yeah, well, it was only a couple of years ago where people said he was like the second best hooker in the game. Like, that was like 2 or 3 years ago. Everyone was saying he's just legend. I think he's been great, but it's been, okay, sort of. Yeah, look, I think he's been good this year, Josh Hodgson, but he's been like, patchy in terms of form. But like, then again, the rest of the Canberra Raiders team's been pretty poor, so it's hard for him to kind of stand out. But he is a very good hooker when he's on. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Well, if you have a look at Jack White's form, he hasn't done a whole lot this year for Canberra, and occasionally Jack White will do something good, but he's had a bit of a disappointing year, Jack White, and so hopefully State of Origin Game 3 can make him explode. But excuse me, bloody when you have a can of Coke, bro, you try not to burp. Bloody hell. Yeah. So disappointing for Manly Thursday night, and I'm pretty sure they'll be fine. But the other game, bro, Friday night game that I'm pretty upset about. The Rabbitohs beating the Cowboys there, 46 points to 18.
Yeah.
Mate, what do you think of the game? I thought the Cowboys were good for a while, and then they took Tamalolo off the field, and then South just went on a rampage. What do you think of the game?
Well, when the Cowboys were up before, I thought at that point they were actually gonna maybe cause an upset, because I thought they were going really well at that point. I thought Ajon Assi was doing okay. I thought Reece Robson was providing good service in dummy half. I thought they were actually on top of South Sydney at that point when they were leading 12-4. I'm pretty sure the score was, and I don't know. I think ever since ever since Cody Walker started going beast mode, it's just that the whole Rabbitohs team all over the Cowboys in the end. So I think, defensively on the edges, I think I'm a bit disappointed. Like, I'm not a Cowboys fan, but if I was a Cowboys fan, I'd be pretty disappointed with how Connolly Lemelu, or however you say it, was defended. He was pretty ordinary, and I thought Tulangi, I think he's been pretty good this year for the Cowboys, Tulangi, but he had one of his worst games as well. I think he was, nowhere to be seen Friday. McLean's overrated as well. I never really rated McLean when he was at the Storm. I rated him, but ever since he's been at the Cowboys, he's been that same player, So, it's not a good performance by the Cowboys. I mean, Cowboys, that's games have to try and win. You can't get smashed. I mean, if the Cowboys want to stay in close contact with the top 8, they can't, get teams like that. I mean, South's a tough team to beat, but you just can't get smashed by that much. It doesn't help, does it?
Yeah, bro, I agree. Look, I'm not going to say a lot about the game. I've already done my review on it, and I did a review last night with Sam Rebel on the channel. So I don't need to say much, but they need to fix their defense. Their edge defense needs work, and I think Todd Payton needs to have a good look at himself, along with some of the players out wide, because I think there's a few of them out there that are a little bit outdated, and I think there's time that we need to get some of the young ones out and maybe bring some experience in there. So disappointing night for us, but South Sydney were too good. But let's move on to tonight's game, mate. Dogs Roosters. This was a really tough game of footy. I really enjoyed tonight's game. It was wet. It was Bankwest Stadium. Obviously, there was no fans allowed in due to the virus. Dogs Roosters, an old rivalry going at it. I thought the Dogs played really, really well tonight and had a real go at the Roosters. So even though the Bulldogs did not win the game, but they showed me a lot of guts tonight. The Dogs. What were your thoughts on the game?
I missed the first 10 minutes because I was doing something else, probably on Rugby League Live 4. But when I watched it, I think the Roosters did pretty well. I think at one point, because Joseph Manu was actually doing all right, and Manu was going all right. I thought, who's that other guy? I think
Louis Smith,
the half. Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. Yeah, he was going all right, and I think the Roosters, they had their answers to score, but they just kept bombing. That's not what you really see from the Roosters. Like, usually when they have that much opportunity to score, they don't normally bomb those sort of opportunities. And it was very really Roosters-like, But credits to the Bulldogs. I think Bulldogs definitely turned up. Definitely were out to have a better performance after being, getting smashed by the best sporting franchise in NRL by Manly last week. So obviously they wanted to bounce back, and they actually played all right. And it was good to see a close contest because normally this sort of game would be a thrashing, but at least Bulldogs, they turned up and gave the Roosters a challenge, so that's a good thing. The game, but just in the end, I think Roosters class got them home. So it was a decent game, though. I'm pretty happy with how the game went.
I've got to mention it, bro. I've got to mention it. I have to mention it. Sam Walker. He got the ball with 10 seconds to go. He ran the other end of the field. Bro, it was something that you would do in rugby league live football when you're playing someone. Like, you could be versus legend mode and you're leading by 2 points. You get the ball and you just run dead and we just waste the clock. It was so funny. And then after the game was over, they had the cameras on the coaches. Trent Robinson looked disgusted and were going, "What are you doing?" Luke Keary and Boyd Cordner were laughing their ass off. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was gold. Now, everyone's like, "Oh, it's a dog move. It's an idiot." You know what? Anyone who thinks it's a dog move, you're just a sook. The Bulldogs had 79 minutes to win the game tonight. Don't go calling Sam Walker a pussy for running the ball backwards. One, it's probably a tactic thing that Sam Walker had through his head at the time. And two, if you were in the same position and it was your team doing it, you would be going berserk and going, "Yes, brilliant idea." Because here's the thing. When you get the ball on the last tackle and all you got to do is just run the game out, why not run the ball backwards and you got players that are like 40 meters away from you? It's a smart idea. It's brilliant. And I'll tell you another thing as well. If you get the ball and you run backwards and it goes up and you run it over the dead ball line, you can actually waste 30 seconds on the shot clock mathematically. So what Sam Walker did was a huge risk, and I understand where people would say, "Oh, he shouldn't have done it. What if he knocked the ball on?" Don't even talk about that. What he did was a genius move, and I'll tell you right now, I haven't seen many halfbacks, 5'8s do that all year, and not for a long time. So I'm glad Sam Walker did that. I thought that was outstanding. What do you think, Lorenzo? You think it was a good move or what?
I think look, I don't know. He should have. There was a lot of things said about it, of course. I mean, people are probably being smart asses saying that he's probably scared the Bulldogs by running away and all that sort of stuff. But big deal. I mean, he's just running backwards, and I mean, he can. I mean, obviously, doesn't like it because there's 20 seconds left of the game, and what if he accidentally drops the ball or something while running backwards, and Lachlan Lewis is right there, picks up and scores, and just anything could happen with 20 seconds remaining. So it's not a big deal, but obviously, it could be a bit picky of it, Robbo. But in all fairness, it's not a big deal. I mean, he's so young. He probably wins, so I won't waste a bit of time to run the ball backwards and celebrate victory like that.
Yeah, bro. I thought I can't. I can still picture it right now. He just gets the ball, runs backwards, runs it over the sideline. I thought it was brilliant, bro. But overall, I thought it was a really good game of football. The Bulldogs tonight, bro, they showed me something. You look at all the bottom sides. The Broncos have been disappointing, obviously. They haven't been good. They showed me something last weekend against Cronulla where when they're at home and they have a few of their big-name players back, especially in Katoni Staggs, the Broncos showed me last week that Katoni Staggs is probably the most important player to that side, along with Payne Haas. So the Broncos showed me something last week against the Sharks. And then tonight, even though the Bulldogs got beat, they put up a really good fight against the Roosters, who were without Tedesco, Crichton, and a few others. The Roosters still had a fairly good side out there tonight, and I thought the Bulldogs showed a lot of guts and a lot of heart out there tonight. It was actually good to see the Dogs have a go against the Roosters tonight. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's game, bro. Warriors versus Sharks. Mate, I reckon that'll be the game of the round tomorrow. I can't wait for it. Mate, the Warriors and Sharks. Are you confident in the Warriors, or do you think the Sharks will bounce back?
I can't be confident about the Warriors, but I've tipped the Warriors only because Reece Walsh is back, and I think Reece Walsh will bring a lot of confidence to the Warriors in terms of attack. He'll bring a lot. And I also think Matt Lodge, obviously a new face in the team, and obviously who would be out to impress the fans and, have a good performance for his new teammates and all that, Matt Lodge. So, and I backed him for a try as well, like I said in the breakdown podcast. So keen to see how he goes for the Warriors tomorrow. So, and like you said, it could be a game of the round, and I agree, it will be a game of the round because I think that both teams are obviously trying to go head-to-head for that spot or try and cement a spot in the top 8 even further. So I'm sure it'll be a pretty competitive game overall. But yeah, look, I think Warriors will win, but obviously not confident because I've tipped them so many times in close games this year and they let me down. So it's pretty tough to kind of go with them again this year. And if they do lose tomorrow, I'm not going to tip them again. Trust me, I'm not going to tip them again if they lose tomorrow because of that inconsistent.
Really?
Because they're that inconsistent. It depends on the adversity, I guess, but they really let me down a lot of times this year when I tip them, so it's hard. But Sharks, again, they're consistent as well, so
I don't blame them, right? The Warriors are a nightmare to tip. You know, if you think the Cowboys are hard to get a read on this year, mate, the Warriors and the Cowboys, in my honest opinion, are literally the same. Both are inconsistent. Both, when they're expected to win a game, they lose it. When they're expected to get flogged by 20 to 30, they seem to show up. I can't get a read on the Warriors. I don't know what they're going to do tomorrow. I have no idea. There are 2 reasons why I'm tipping the Sharks. Reason number 1, I trust the Sharks a little bit more. Reason number 2, no Toru Harris for the Warriors, and Chad Townsend's not there. I know Townsend was shocking against the Dragons. He threw the game away. We all know that. But Sean O'Sullivan, I'm not convinced by him. I'm not convinced by Sean O'Sullivan. So, look, I'm going the Sharks tomorrow. I don't really know what way to go. I'm looking forward to seeing Connor Tracy play 5'8" tomorrow. But we're about to get another special guest on the show, mate. But before we do that, pick a try score tomorrow in the Warriors win. Someone to score anytime tomorrow because you're going the Warriors. Who do you reckon will be an anytime try score tomorrow?
So I've got a good one for you, Nick. So it's Matt Lodge. Yep. I reckon Matt Lodge will get any time try score tomorrow in his new colours.
Wow.
Yeah. I think you'll get a try. I think he will get a try. Trust me. I've said this all week in the breakdown podcast. Matt Lodge will at least get one try, and I do see him getting one. So yeah, I think he'll have a good game and he'll get a try. Anytime try score. There you go.
I've been saying this all night to my family, and I reckon the Sharks will win tomorrow. I reckon 1-12. I reckon Aaron Woods will score tomorrow anytime. I don't know why. I've got a feeling about Aaron Woods, and I've also got a weird gut feeling about Teague Wilton on that left edge. I don't know why. I just got a feeling. So we're both disagreeing on the tip, but I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow afternoon. It should be a good game of footy. Now we're about to get in another guy onto the show for tonight. Another special guest arriving in at the 23rd minute mark off the bench, and his name is Sam Revel. Here he is. Oh, what the heck is that? It's like a Cowboys.
Hey boys, how you going?
Sam Revel's here. He's got the he's got the Cowboys bear. Can't show his face after that disgusting, sickening performance last night.
How are you?
I'm pretty sure this guy would be a better coach than Todd Payton would be. Have a look at him. Have a look at him. How you going, mate?
I'm very well. Hey guys, what's up? Hey, can you hear me?
The bear was doing a better job than you were. Nah, I'm only joking.
Yeah, you know what? That's like the second time that's happened to me tonight, lads, because a couple of minutes ago, I checked out my YouTube channel, and there's a guy that I've never seen comment on my channel before, and he said that I look like an out of fitness, like an overweight, unfit MMA fighter that I've never heard before. He said no disrespect. He said no disrespect, though. Thanks, man. Thanks very much. Yeah, that was a good game tonight. Yeah, it was a good game tonight, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Great game tonight. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow, the Bulldogs. I thought they were going to win. At 16-0, I thought the Dogs were going to get them.
Yeah. Yeah, so in the space of 1 week since I've joined you, Nick, I've been reference to Sam Rapira, Todd Payton, The Big Show, a fat MMA fighter. Far out. What's going to happen in the next couple of days, lads? Jesus.
Oh,
Who knows? Who honestly knows?
Oh, hey, I've actually now got a fair dinkum question. What do you reckon about Seabus Super Stadium? State of Origin Game 3.
This was actually going to get mentioned. I was waiting for someone to mention it. No one in the chat's even mentioned it yet, which I'm surprised about. Right. State of Origin 3. Seabus Super Stadium. It's 1 hour and 10 minutes from me, but I can't go because I got work the next day. But anyway, I don't know about you guys, but I think it's a great decision. New South Wales can win 3-0 in Queensland. I love it. What about you, NRL Video 9-0?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, I think it's a good stadium for it. I mean, I guess it's unfortunate for Newcastle because, you obviously would want to hold the shield because I know New South Wales are going to win anyway, and you would want to hold the shield in New South Wales territory, but, currently where I am is a bit tough, but, I think it's good because I think we can go 3-0 over Maroons in Queensland, all Queensland territory. 3-0, that'd be fantastic. I don't mind it because I think Seabus Super Stadium it's a good enough stadium to host Origin, so I think it's not that bad overall, and I think it's a good stadium to host Origin. I don't mind actually. Yeah,
look, 27,000 people are allowed in, which is good. I'm pretty happy about that. What about you, Sam? Do you like it up there, Seabus?
I do. I think it probably puts a bit more fuel into the tank for the Blues, really. I mean, there is now a chance for them to have a complete whitewash playing the entire trilogy in the state of Queensland. I think that gives them more onus to get up there and smash Queensland, just quietly. Yeah, definitely. So, Jack Whiten and Moses are definitely going to be the key to victory if they are to get up. I think we've spoken about this before. I think Queensland have a much better side this time round, probably the best side so far. But yeah, I think New South Wales have some serious history in front of them that may not ever be repeated. And that's a complete whitewash in the state of Queensland.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I was supposed to do my State of Origin preview today, but I'll probably do it tomorrow afternoon now after the Sharks-Warriors game or something. Tomorrow night I'll get it up on the channel. But, look, obviously it'll be good to see the Blues destroy Queensland 3-0 in Queensland. That's something that's never happened before, and it's something that all of us New South Welshmen will be able to be happy with for the rest of our lives, I guess. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad it's up at Seabus now. Newcastle was going to be the venue, but because of the virus, the Chinese virus, whatever you want to call it, apparently too many people have been trying to go from Sydney and Brisbane to Newcastle, and it's all gotten a bit of an ugly situation. So they're going, it's too risky now. We're moving to the Gold Coast. I'm going, where are you going next? Are you going to Perth? Are you going to Adelaide? Are you going to Vegas? Where are you going? So I'm glad it's at Gold Coast. I'm really glad it's up there. And everyone's going to have a go at me now and go, oh, Nick, I thought you hate the Gold Coast. Yeah, I hate the Gold Coast Titans guts. Absolutely I do. Do I hate their stadium? Seabus Super Stadium? Heck no. It's a great ground to go to. Very easy to get to the game. Very easy. It's so easy to get there. So I'm glad it's up at Seabus. Seabus, well, here's the thing, right? The Gold Coast, Seabus Super Stadium, the whole Gold Coast area is a very, very good place. Don't get me wrong. But the Titans is shit. That's all that matters. Fuck the Titans. But
that's all that matters.
That's all that matters, mate.
That's all that matters.
I've said this 1,000 times, and I'm happy to say it again. If Cowboys don't make the finals, all I give a shit about is us finishing higher than the Titans. That's all I care about. All I care about. I want to be higher than them. I'm so sick of them coming out, the Titans fans. Oh, we're the best team in Queensland. We're the future of the NRL. We're the future of Queensland. You're the future of being unemployed. That's what they're the future of. Hopefully we finish higher than them. I'm so sick of the Titans. But anyway, let's get off the negative shit. So let's get into the positive stuff.
Hey, so just before you go on, Nick, as a Canberran man, our hands are up. They were up to host the State of Origin Game 3. It's still New South Wales territory, so it kind of sucks that we're missing out, unfortunately. But hopefully we can get a couple of double headers over the next few weeks, though, because it seems like the NRL are about to announce that games are getting moved regionally and outside of Sydney now.
This is exactly what I was about to say. You read my mind. Absolutely fantastic. So, in case you guys have been living under a rock or you don't know what's happening, tomorrow morning the NRL is having a emergency meeting, and everyone's going to talk. They're going to talk about is the game safe enough to be played behind closed doors in New South Wales? Probably not. The cases of the virus keep going up every day. I think there was 50 today in New South Wales, especially in Sydney, that Central Coast area, and around the region, Bondi and all those sort of areas where it's all locked down. So they're talking about moving the game out. This is what I think will happen. You can use Canberra, you can use Newcastle, you can use all those areas, Melbourne. I think the NRL will move all the way up to Queensland, and they will have hubs. Now, last year in the AFL, they did that. They moved the whole AFL competition. Last year, moved up to Queensland for a while until things started to settle down in the other areas, such as Perth and Adelaide and all that situation. So I think the NRL will move all 16 clubs all the way to Queensland. They'll put them in a hub, so they'll play all 4 games. Suncorp Stadium will be available. Seabus Super Stadium will be available. Queensland Country Bank Stadium will be available. And the other ground will be Sunshine Coast Stadium. So they'll probably split them all up. They'll have, say, the Cowboys and maybe a couple of other teams in Townsville. There'll be a few teams stuck in Brisbane, some on the Goldie and some at Sunshine Coast. And they'll split them up. They'll travel from here to there and whatever. And they'll probably do that for 4 to 6 weeks because of the whole virus. So I don't think it'll go for the rest of the season. They should be able to get back into New South Wales, hopefully, come finals times. So I think they'll all move to Queensland and all play on 4 different grounds: Townsville, Gold Coast, Suncorp, and Sunshine Coast Stadium. They'll probably do that. I don't know what you guys think. Obviously, Canberra could be another option as well, but with Queensland having 4 grounds available, I think that's the only thing that makes sense at this stage. What do you guys reckon? We'll start with you, Sam. What do you think about it?
There's no need to go anywhere else. I mean, Amy Park is set to reopen next week when Storm host Newcastle with a capped crowd as well. But it's just so simple just to move everyone, haul ass up into Queensland, and then come maybe a fortnight, maybe even a week before finals start. I think we'll probably see New South Wales reopen the stadiums, and we'll see some capped crowds. Maybe even, unfortunately, no crowds for the semis. And if that were to happen, we'll probably shift it back up to Queensland. But I think what will happen is we'll be in Queensland for the rest of the regular season, and then come finals, I think it'll be as normal, back to normal sort of thing. Yeah.
It'll be interesting where all the teams do get based as well, because tomorrow morning, I can guarantee you that the Sharks versus Warriors game tomorrow will be the last game in New South Wales, probably for 4 to 6 weeks. To guarantee that. I'm pretty confident in saying that tonight. NRL Vid 090, before I get to you, in your opinion, I think next week, because the games that are scheduled to happen, Titans versus Eels at Seabus Super Stadium, that will probably be at Seabus still. Manly versus St. George, I believe that game will probably be at Suncorp. Raiders versus Sharks, probably be at Townsville, I'm guessing. Cowboys, Roosters at Townsville. They might have back-to-back games at Townsville there. Who knows? Storm versus Knights. That'll probably be at the Sunshine Coast, more than likely. Warriors and Panthers probably end up being at Gold Coast. Broncos and Tigers will be at Suncorp, and South versus Canterbury might be at Sunshine Coast, maybe at Townsville as well. It's hard to really predict where it's going to happen, but NRL Vid 090, what are your thoughts on the NRL moving from Sydney for a few weeks?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's neat because I think the outbreak in Sydney is getting out of hand with all the COVID cases that are spreading. So, and especially in just the inner west area, where I am, it's pretty bad. So It's definitely not going to. I hope it gets better, but it's spreading, which isn't good. So I think moving it to places like in Queensland, like Sunshine Coast, like you mentioned, Canberra, Sunshine Coast Stadium, Suncorp Stadium, Seabury Super Stadium, they're all options where most games will be hosted for the rest of, or for 4 weeks that, the 4 weeks that will be away from New South Wales. So, I think it's all right. It's okay because I think I'm pretty optimistic that we'll play another game at Sydney this year. Just don't know, but we'll be again this year, like the locations you mentioned above. I think that's where the game should be hosted in the future for those 4 weeks.
Yeah, look, I think that's the best thing to do. I would not be surprised if the draw got a little bit mixed up. I wouldn't be surprised. The games that are scheduled to happen next week, I wouldn't be surprised if they were switched around a little bit, which would be very annoying because coaches and clubs, they try to prepare for these games, and that could even change as well yet. No one knows. But I got to say, this is a huge advantage for the teams that are trying to find that top 8, like the Titans and the Cowboys. They're trying to get into that top 8. If they have the next 4 to 6 weeks in Townsville and the Gold Coast, that really, really helps their chances. I know both sides have got a pretty tough draw, but that really does help them a lot, I'm telling you right now. It'll be interesting to see how that all plans out. But I'm hoping that all the games end up in – I'm hoping the Cowboys end up at the Gold Coast. I'll be able to go up there. I don't really want to drive to Brisbane because that's pretty annoying. But, mate, if the Cowboys can get a few games at the Gold Coast, I will be there because where I am in Lismore, we have to listen to the Sydney rules with the bubble and that. We have to listen to them. So basically when you're at work, when you go to the supermarket, petrol station, whatever it may be, you have to wear a face mask, which is very, very annoying, but you have to do it. But we can still access Queensland as long as we have the, what do they call it, the friggin', what's that, the border pass. So hopefully I can go to a few games up on the Gold Coast. That would be absolutely fantastic. So I'm hoping, but fingers crossed that all goes to plan. But I'm looking forward to it. I think all the games next week and the coming weeks will be Sunshine Coast Stadium, Townsville, Suncorp, and the Gold Coast. I think they'll be split into maybe 2 divisions, but we'll see what happens as well. It's going to be quite interesting to see how that all plans out. But
Nick, like, how much of a disadvantage is it though to Canberra? Because now we are unaffected. We don't have to wear masks here in Canberra. We got nothing, no COVID cases or what have you. Not for many months now, really. And they now have to give up GIO Stadium, home ground advantage, and they're still only 1 win outside the top 8, the Raiders. And now they have to pack up after they had a pretty tough time of it last season as well, going back and forth on the bus from Sydney back to Canberra again. It's not advantageous for everyone, man. But they're professionals, and well, some of them are anyway, i.e. Dragons. So they should go up to Queensland and hopefully, stay on track, I guess, or get back on track. But yeah, it sucks for Canberra, man. It sucks for Canberra if that's what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, it does suck for Canberra. Understandable. Canberra is probably one of the safest places to go to at the moment with the whole virus situation. The problem with Canberra is they've only got one ground that they use for NRL, which is GIO Stadium. Queensland have got 4 grounds that they can use. Sunshine Coast, Seabus, Suncorp, Townsville. All of them are pretty good with the virus at the moment, especially Townsville. Townsville hasn't had a case for a long time. So it does suck for Canberra, but it sucks for the Warriors as well. The poor old Warriors from New Zealand, they can't even go play in New Zealand. They're stuck at the Central Coast. Now they've got to go, probably have to go to Queensland. Those poor Warriors. I don't know how they put up with it. I really don't know. I feel sorry for the Warriors. The sacrifices that the Warriors have made are just unbelievable. I feel really sorry for them. And right now, we're going to have another guest join us as well. When came on last week. His name is Nathan. He's a mad Newcastle fan. I think his nickname is Squid Diddley or something. I don't know where he got that name from, but Nathan is joining us, and we're just going to get him in right now. Good evening, Nathan. How you going, bro?
Hello. Fantastic.
How you going, mate?
Nathan Moore.
Fantastic at the moment. and that. Oh, NRL vids. Everyone's here. Everyone's around. Sam's here. Everyone's here.
Hey, mate.
Nathan, mate, we're just talking about the NRL probably moving to Queensland. There's 4 grounds that they can use in Queensland. They'll probably do that. I don't think that they'll risk it from Queensland to Melbourne and Canberra every week. I don't think they'll be risking that. Mate, do you think, if the NRL moves all the way up to Queensland and uses all 4 grounds like I mentioned, you think that's a good thing or what?
If it keeps the game going, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they wanted to, they can even add a couple more venues in the area. Like, they could probably take a game to Toowoomba. They could take a game up to, Longridge, Mount Isa, maybe. There's a ground at Mount Isa and that.
Rocky.
But, I mean, yeah, Rockhampton, that's another one there. I mean, the choices are endless. But, yeah, I think the main stadiums, as you just said, Sunshine Coast, Townsville, Cebus, obviously,
Suncorp,
and that, yeah. And I think it's a good move, and that, and I hope that this whole shit down here in New South Wales settles down.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
By the time the grand final comes in, but yeah.
I was literally about to mention this part as well. Now, if I'm telling you right now, if this happens, and plus Redcliffe, they could go to Redcliffe as well, as Kurt just read in the chat right there. G'day, Kurt. How you going, bro? If the COVID outbreak is really, really bad come finals time, do you play all the games in Queensland still, even with the top 4 and all that? And the other question I have as well for you fellas as well is, if COVID is real bad by grand final time, do you play the grand final at Suncorp Stadium?
Yes.
Yes, I would. Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I would too. I think it'd be a great idea.
I think
like we all saw last year, the AFL had to move from Victoria, which is pretty much the AFL land, and they had the grand final up at the Gabba, and the Victorian team won the grand final. So it can be done. So I think that if the grand final got moved to Suncorp Stadium because of the virus, if it's really bad by then, I think it would be a really good thing. I think it would be. NRL Vid 090, what do you think? Do you think the grand final at Suncorp would be good if the virus doesn't slow down?
Yeah, I said yeah. I think it will be. I think it's probably the other real great best stadium in Sydney. In Australia. I mean, sorry. Yeah, I think it's one of the best stadiums in Australia. So that's the grand final. If that's if it's not available to be in stadium Australia. Yeah, I have to agree. I can't disagree with that one bit. What about you, Sam? What do you think about it?
Oh, it's the second biggest heartland for rugby league in Australia. Fans for all teams across Queensland, and they come from near and far to go to just a regular season game, let alone a grand final. That'd be sensational. I don't think the grand final will be able to host 100% capacity. And what's a grand final if it's not 100% capacity sort of thing? Even though we had one last year, don't get me started on that grand final from last season. If we can get 100% capacity grand final at Suncorp Stadium, and it's looking like a Penrith Melbourne grand final at where we're standing now, it'd be awesome. 50,000 for sure. Bring it on.
Yeah, sounds good. No, I think with the virus, I think if it's still the way it is come finals time, then I think you play one final game at Brisbane and then the other game maybe at the Seabus Super Stadium. And obviously Queensland's different to here. Normally you have 4 finals. Thursday night you can have the first final game at Seabus. Friday night Suncorp. Saturday night Suncorp. Sunday afternoon, Seabus, you can work around it very easily. So it's a very interesting situation that could happen there. But what was I going to say next? Oh, jeez, I don't know. But
I got a question, Nick. So I wrapped my head around it, and I think clearly in the game right now today, James Fisher-Harris would be on top for the best forward in the game. I think, and this is my question, what do you guys think about Jared Warrior-Hargreaves this season? For me personally, he has, it's not as if he's gone to a level, but he's really accepted being a leader, and I think he's had a fantastic season so far. What do you guys reckon?
I think he's playing some really, really good footy. Jared Warrior-Hargreaves, he's keeping his discipline as best as he can, and I think he's playing really well at the Roosters. Obviously, without Lindsay Collins and Radley was out for a while due to suspension. He's really stepped up, Hargreaves, so I think he's in the top 3, top 5 props in the game at the moment. I think he's having a fantastic season. What about you, NRL Vid 090? What are your thoughts on Hargreaves so far this year?
Yeah, like he's just a bit more passionate, I think he realised that he's got more of a spot and more of a job in the team, to be that leader for the younger forwards like Nat Butcher, Egan Butcher, and guys like that in the team, like the younger forwards. And obviously he's the one that lays the platform for them, and I think he's doing a decent job in doing that. I think he's been one of their better players this year, and I think he's in pretty top form to JWH.
I'm just checking his stats. Jared Warrior-Hargreaves is currently averaging 151 meters a game. Whether you like him, you hate him, you think he's a grub, you think he's an aggressive player, he's playing some fantastic footy. There's no doubting about that. But what about you, Nathan? What are your thoughts on Jared Warrior-Hargreaves so far this year? What are your thoughts on him on how he's going?
Mate, he's doing really well. Like he's definitely stepped up with like just the massive injury toll that the Roosters have gotten. I'm not only just going to actually mention Hargreaves, I'm going to mention this entire Roosters team as well. I mean, if you look at the caliber of injuries that they've got to keep players like Keary and obviously Cordner and Friend having to retire and all that, and they're still, I mean, they're not going to win the grand final, but they're still hanging in there and that, and like they're gonna. I just really commend them, and I just commend, as I said, I just commend how how they managed to like just stay strong and stay put and stay in touch with the top the top 6, and that even with the injury toll that they've got to those key players.
Yeah, fair call. Let's also talk about this topic that came up tonight. Matt Duffy, the Dragons fullback, has signed a 1-year deal with the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, a 1-year deal for next year, 2022. He will be a Bulldog. I don't know about you guys, but I am so glad he found a club. Obviously, the Dragons said, look, we don't need you next year. We're going in a different direction. Matt Duffy had no idea what was happening. He had Canberra. He didn't go to Canberra because apparently they were high on him, and then they weren't high on him. And then the Broncos knocked him back because he wanted too much money. The Bulldogs have given him a 1-year deal. If I was the Broncos, I'd be pretty fuming about this because Matt Duffy would have been perfect for the Broncos. But now that he's going to the Dogs, I think it's a great buy for Canterbury. I think it really fixes their attack a little bit. They'll score more points next year. Now we'll start with NRL Vid 090. Mate, what are your thoughts on Matt Duffy signing a 1-year deal with Canterbury? Do you think he'll do well there?
So as I was talking to you before we started all this, probably in the green room and all that, I have a pretty, I've got a pretty interesting opinion on it. I think, I think Matt Duffy is a good player when he's on. I think, he brings a lot of points, as you can see for the Dragons. He's the one who basically brings a lot of points to that team. But one thing I'm pretty concerned about from his game is his defense and his consistency. Like, for a fullback, he goes missing in a lot of games. I feel like that, like good fullbacks like Tom Trbojevic, look at Tedesco and players like that, they don't really go missing as a fullback. Like, I mean, there's that 1 or 2 occasional games that may like not do much, but with Matt Duffy, he has one real red hot game, and then the other game just kind of vanishes and he's nowhere to be seen. So that's one problem there. I think he's just a bit too consistent sometimes, Duffy, but I can't dismiss his talent, but he's just the inconsistency. Is just one thing he has to try and get a hold of. And the other thing is too his defense. I think for a small man, it's tough to be a good defender if you're like small, but. He's got to fix defense. I feel like that he lets in a lot of tries, mainly because he's defense, and it's an easy fix. I mean, defense is always something easy to fix. If you get it right, just go fix your tackling technique. But with Duffy, I feel like that he just got to fix his defense and all that, and he should be okay. But I got to say, he's a great player, a lot of speed, got a good attacking game. And I feel like the Bulldogs struggle to score points nearly every week. So I feel like, with him, with Addo-Carr, with Kotrick outside him, I feel like, there'll be a lot of points with him being there, being with those sort of players, next year, I reckon. So it's good signing, but I do see the risks in it as well.
What about you, Sam? What are your thoughts on the signing, Duffy to the Canterbury?
With all due respect, it's an upgrade from Nick Meaney. When Nick Meaney goes down to Melbourne next season, I think Craig Bellamy can get the best out of Meaney. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but it is an upgrade, and I agree with NRL Fit 090. There is such a massive question mark on his defence. But Trent Barrett, he has signed Matt Burton, Josh Addo-Carr, Chotrick, and I heard whispers just before that they're trying to do something with Dale Finucane to try and get him back into the club as well. It seems like Trent Barrett wants to put the entertainers back on the Canterbury moniker, really. And Matt Duffy is worth a try every single game he plays. And I know they had a very good game tonight, Canterbury, but they still need more attacking, like-minded players. And Matt Duffy can do that. But he's signed a one-year contract, and I'm sure you guys are of the same wavelength that it takes time for all these combinations and camaraderie to gel. And what are you going to do in 1 year when Matt Burton's still so young, Addo-Carr and Matt Duffy comes in for one season? What are they actually going to do next season? By the feels of things, and this is so ultra early to say this, but like they could be fighting for 8th spot and no higher than that. But yeah, I'm glad he has found a club because I still like Duffy as a talent. But what he did recently in the Dragons barbecue breach, it's still kind of fresh. And knowing what we know, what he did that night, it's like, good on you, mate. Now, sort of get back into it. You just don't care. But I do wish him the best. So those are my thoughts. I think he will add another try or two to the Bulldogs attack next season.
Yeah, I will get to my point in a minute. Nathan, what do you think about Duffy going to the Dogs next year, bro?
I mean, great signing for the Bulldogs. As what Sam just said, like they'll have more spark in their attack and that. I still see the Bulldogs making finals in a couple of years, and that because they've got all these signings this year, and where are they now? Is it really going to be the same next? It's probably going to be the same next year or the year after. It's going to be a while till we see the Bulldogs become a genuine threat again. But that's in my opinion, though. But for Duffy to go to the Bulldogs and that, fantastic. Is there an extension? Like, is there room for an extension and that?
From what I know, no, I don't think there's been an option or anything like that, Nathan. It's just a bang-on, one-year deal.
All right. Well, I think, too, the one-year deal as well, I think it's a good move because it basically is like, okay, you got the one-year deal, perform for us. If you do well, we'll give you extra. If you don't, well, see you later. That's just
and Nathan, I agree with you, man.
Smart.
Yeah, but see, the problem for Matt Duffy is I don't think he's going to have that Tom Trbojevic sort of impact. I know it's like comparing apples and oranges, but like I don't see him hitting the ground running for the first 6 weeks, man, and making that sort of an impact to the side, and then having the board sit down and offer him that extension. I don't see that for Matt Duffy, but I hope he proves me wrong, though, man.
He's gonna. The one thing he needs to work on that defense. he really needs to work on the defense because you see him in a lot of those Dragons matches. He just bleeds the points. He bleeds the points and he lets the attackers just come in and that. So I think that's one thing Trent Barrett would have to let him know, like to basically tell him, right, you need to get this defense done. You need to get it, and you've got like, and I don't think he will be like, he shouldn't be the be all end all finisher because obviously next year you've got Josh Adokar coming in and all that. And he's one of the most lethal finishers in the game. So, like, it's. I think the best thing with Duffy as well is that there's not much pressure on it. Like there's some pressure, but there's not much. And that, like, he doesn't have the team on his shoulders, and that, but there's also that pressure to perform.
Yeah, look.
Yeah, I get that.
Look, obviously, I think it's a great signing for the Dogs. I understand the 1 year deal. I'm actually glad the 1 year deal has happened. I'm glad it is because now, if he goes really well, the Bulldogs will try and re-sign him. If he has a shocker, then maybe he'll go to a different side. So look, I think I'm glad Duffy is going to the Dogs. I think it's a bit awkward for him because he's been at the Dragons his entire life. So it's going to be a bit strange to see him at a different side. It's a bit like Adam Reynolds going to the Broncos next year. It's going to be so weird seeing him play for the Broncos. Duffy's been a Dragon his whole life. Now he's going to the Dogs, which is one of the Dragons' rivals. So it's like far out, man. All these players leaving their clubs from as a junior going to a different team. It's going to be very strange. So, like, I think the Dogs are building something at the moment. Obviously they're going bad this year and they have been shithouse. But Duffy, Adokar, Kotrick, Naden, Corey Allen, and Matt Burton in the halves with Avarillo, they're building something very nice there, Canterbury. I'm telling you. And their forward pack will get better. Thompson's been great for them. Jack Harrington needs to just stop doing high tackles. Adam Elliott is a good player. He's a big loss. So if I could pick up a Dale Finucane or a Tavita Pangai Jr., if I could add another big-name prop to their side, then they're on the up, the Dogs. And I think Duffy, overall, I like the signing. I think it's a great signing. 1 year deal. Good. You don't see one year deals very often anymore because it costs clubs too much money. It costs them a fortune, 1 year deals. And they're very, very rare nowadays. Everyone signs a 2 to 3 year deal because 1 year deals, it costs the club a fair bit of money. So I'm glad he's gone to the Dogs. I didn't want to see him leave the NRL. Glad he's found the club. And, Duffy and Adokar together in open space, mate, one word I can say is speed. Speed to bone.
One thing I'll say as well, like with him going to the Bulldogs and that, he's going to come out of his shell a little bit more because we saw, and like you probably asked, what do you mean by that? And the best example I can say for that is Isaiah Pahalihi. He's been with the Warriors and that. He looked like he was a bit too comfortable in that. They moved him to Parramatta, brand new environment, and look what he's doing by the season.
That's a fair call. That's a fair call.
Big with Duffy,
exactly.
And same with Reynolds and all these other guys as well that's been around for the club, like their previous club for long term. Like it's going to be a new fresh start and that. And I think Duffy, I personally think Duffy will play better at the Bulldogs after just saying that. I think he'll play better at the Bulldogs than he would at the Dragons because he's just going to be out of comfort zone.
And if there is one player that can back up Adokar for speed and whatnot, it is going to be Matt Duffy and vice versa too. That's a good point that Nick said. Like, yeah, absolute. They're going to be monsters. Absolutely scary if they can get it right next season.
I'll tell you, everyone's so worried about Matt Duffy's defense. Look, I understand. We all know his defense is not going to be like a Turbo, Teddy, or a Gufferson. We all know that. But his attack is going to be so important. Everyone's like, oh, he's not going there with much pressure. Trust me. Believe me when I say this. Matt Duffy has a lot of pressure on him now. At the Dragons, he was told that he can't defend. Griffin got rid of him because of his defense, his attitude, blah, blah, blah. Now he's going to a team that has been shithouse since 2016. The pressure on him, Burton, Addo Carr, Naden. It is massive. Duffy and Burton are probably the two main guys in that side. Now Addo Carr will be there because he's going to be he's probably the first or second best winger in the game, Addo Carr. Duffy, if he needs to be good, because if he's bad, he is going to really struggle. So there's a lot of pressure on Duffy next year. If the Bulldogs are going well, then the praises will be coming for Duffy, Burton, and all these sort of players. If they're going bad, it's going to be, Duffy's defense and that game wasn't good enough. His defensive pressure there, his second effort wasn't good. So there's a lot of pressure on Duffy, and I think there's more pressure on him than any other player going to the Dogs next year. Now, Matt Burton's going to do a good job, no doubt about that, because he's going to be probably the conductor of that side. So I feel like Duffy at fullback, he has to be amazing, or it's going to be a fail. So we'll see what happens with the Dogs next year. I think a pass mark for them would be getting out of the bottom four for a start, but we'll see how they go. And Trent Barrett's going to have a lot of pressure on him next year. He's bought Duffy, Addo Carr, Burton, Naden. Kotrick's there, but he's injured. A lot of pressure will be on Trent Barrett next year. Baz has got a lot of work to do, so we'll see how the Bulldogs go next year. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm really keen for the Dogs. What about do you guys see the Bulldogs doing anything next year, even with the signings that they've got so far?
Yeah. I see them making some moves. As I said, they're not going to be a genuine contender as of yet. It's going to be a while until we see them in that top 8 form. But I definitely see them out of the bottom 4 next year. I definitely see them not as I said, not in the 8, but sort of banging on the door a little bit. But the other thing too that I think a lot of people don't really mention about the Bulldogs is their junior system. And that, I mean, I can say this from personal experience because here where I live on the mid-north coast of New South Wales, the Bulldogs have actually signed a deal to have that area. So the team here is called the Mid-North Coast Bulldogs. So, and some of the players around here, mate, unbelievable. Some of the players are unbelievable. So I think Bulldogs have got, in terms of their juniors, they've got good future. They've got a good future set up. But even if some of those big stars go down, if they could develop these juniors a lot more, then they'll be fine. They'll be fine. That it'd be like another Penrith or Parramatta.
Oh, hang on. I wouldn't go that far, bro. Hang on. No.
Yeah.
Don't do No. I wouldn't go that far, bro.
I backtrack that.
Wouldn't go that far, brother. Not quite. But it's your opinion, mate. You say what you want. Say what you want. If someone disagrees with you, I'm happy for a debate. I got no issue with that. No dramas at all.
I mean, they're not.
Yeah, go on.
They're not going to, as I said, they're not going to be up there. They're not going to be like Panthers quality or Eels quality yet. But they're gonna be better than the past couple of years.
Will they make the finals next year, the Bulldogs, Nathan?
No.
Okay.
I don't see that. Just
making sure. I was just saying, if you had the Bulldogs in your top 8, I would have been very surprised. But, next year's a long way away, yeah? The Bulldogs' goal for the rest of the year now is to try and avoid the wooden spoon. That's their goal. That's what they're trying to do. So it'd be interesting to see how it all goes. But I want to ask you guys a different question, a little bit off topic tonight. Besides your team winning the grand final, so obviously 2015 Cowboys, me and Sam, that was our favourite grand final. NRL Vids 090's got 2011 and 2008. Nathan, you've probably got Newcastle 2001 and 1997. Besides your own team winning the grand final, what would your favourite grand final be in the NRL era? We'll start with you, NRL Vid 090. What was yours, mate?
I've got a couple in mind. I mean, 2015 Cowboys Broncos comes to mind because I remember just sitting in the lounge room back in 2015. It was just unbelievable how it unfolded. Just the whole game itself. It was back and forth for a while, and just to the dying minutes and seconds. Just how the game went was unbelievable, and something I won't forget that grand final. That's for sure. Another one that I think was actually okay was the 20 grand final Sharks and Storm. That was actually not that bad. It was a very gritty game, and from memory, it was very close. It was like 14-12 the final score, and that was one I didn't mind. And another one I think was actually decent to watch as well as the 2014 grand final. I think the 2014 grand final was another good one. I mean, Souths won easily, but I think in the first half it was 6-6 and it was tight. Like Bulldogs were going to come back because it was 6-0 for a while, and then Tony T-Rex Williams scores a try, and they looked like they were back in the game in the grand final. But just a second, Souths, Greg Inglis, Luke Keary, just Dylan Walker all dominating back then. So that was a game. Actually, I think it was good to see Souths break the drought. So there's something that comes to mind. Those grand finals.
Yep. What about you, Sam? Obviously, there's been a lot of great grand finals in the NRL era. There's been a couple of bludgers, I guess you could say. But besides the 2015 one, what would your favourite NRL grand final be? Or if you have a couple of them to mention?
My favourite grand final day is 2008. I remember Sydney being a grey overcast day, and the telecast, I sat there from go to woe with my family. Yeah, I go NRL vids. Yes, I know. And I remember the reserve grade grand final was an extra time game, and that went.
I know this one.
It was like a 100-minute game, and I think it was won by a try. And then Raiders Broncos Toyota Cup grand final that same day went into Gold Point extra time, and I really dislike Melbourne. And so for Manly to absolutely pump the Storm grand final day, and when Steve Menzies scored that try, my brother and I jumped for Manly and hugged and was like, that was amazing. For me, grand final 2008 day was amazing. It was a cracker of a day, and I think probably the best match besides the big one for you and I think there's two that come to mind immediately, and Roosters Raiders was an absolute war in 2019. And what is underrated, or a game that doesn't really get spoken about much, is Easts versus Manly from 2013. That was a banger of a match, man, and doesn't really get the love that it deserves, in my opinion, anyway. 2008 NRL Grand Final day, 2008, and 2019 is probably the best Grand Final outside of my own personal pick, which is Cowboys Broncos.
Yeah. What about you, Nathan? Obviously, your Knights won in 2001, and they haven't really done anything since Joey retired. But what grand final would be your favourite besides the 2001 grand final?
I actually have a few, if you don't mind.
Yep.
I have a few. So I love, in terms of like blood physicality, for me, 2012, that Storm Bulldogs match. I remember, it just also memories as well. I remember I was staying in like a caravan park, and there was like a little TV, and we just sat and watched that, and it was brutal. It was fucking brutal. It was insanely brutal. But I loved it. I love my physicality. I love like just two blokes bamming into each other, and James Graham biting Billy Slater's like ear and that. I know it sounds bad, but Jesus Christ, there's some interesting memories. A very underrated grand final, not many people talk about, is 1999.
1999?
And Georgia Illawarra.
You're going to mention that crap? Yeah. Oh, God. Well, go ahead. I'm just going to put my head on this. I don't want to hear about 1999, bro. That game makes me sick.
Oh.
In terms of controversy, before the 6 again call happened, that was the original. That was the OG and controversial. Like, that could have went either way with that penalty try, and that with Craig Smith. 2005 was another one of my favourites.
No, don't mention Well, no.
watching
Oh, why you got to mention that? I'm with you, Nick. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh,
2004. It's only because the bench. It's because of the bench.
Yeah.
Like, okay, fine. If you want me to say, okay, look, I'll make it better. 2015. Obviously, 2015 is probably my greatest memory, and that. But I feel like it's a bit too cliche to say 2015 because everyone just says it so many times, and understandably so because it's a fucking banger of a grand final. 2013 was also another one of my favourites. The one where I'll just see NRL Vid's just sitting there and he's about to play my deathbed in a minute talking about this grand final. But 2013, like, you know, Seagulls to go up and then in the second half, it just reminded me of Newcastle Manly. And that, in a way, I mean, wasn't as good.
That's enough for you, mate.
Nathan, mate, you got everyone getting up off their chairs tonight. Jesus.
Hell yeah. Nah.
Unbelievable. Well, anyway, that's your opinion.
Got absolutely everyone.
All right. Let me just respond to a couple of these grand finals that you guys have mentioned. Right. 1999. It was ruined by a fucking penalty try at the end. That was not a penalty try. Who's to say that the bastard wouldn't drop the ball? You know, back then the rules were different to now. That's a fucking disgrace. Right. The second one, 2013 grand final can kiss my ass. You know why I don't talk about that grand final? One, because there was that many calls on both sides of the field that were completely fucking wrong. There were 50-50 controversial calls the entire game. It was like watching an NRL game right now. You know, the 2013 grand final reminded me of Magic Round. Just controversy. Bullshit call here that led to a try. Bullshit call there that led to another one. I hate that grand final with an absolute passion. I refuse to watch it. It's hard. It really annoys me.
I don't blame you.
I hate it. I hate the game. And then you had to mention the 2012 grand final. Melbourne versus Canterbury. Bro, Ben Barber 2012 was literally Jared Hayne of 2009. Ben Barber that year was unbelievable. I felt sorry for the Dogs. I was cheering them on. I was like, please shut this Melbourne scum up for crying out loud. But no, they had the fucking win. I hate that grand final too because the Bulldogs bombed about 1,000 tries in that game. And you had to mention 2005.
I'm sorry.
The
Benji
flick.
comment here.
I'm looking at the comments.
Your mullet is very hot. Nah. Sorry, Nick.
Benji flick.
Go on, Nick.
Sorry, Nick.
The Benji flick can kiss my ass.
Yeah,
Fuck the flick.
I'm sick of seeing the flick too, mate. Yeah,
Mate.
Benji Marshall, our bloody nemesis, fair dinkum.
The Benji Marshall flick gives me nightmares. I'm going to have a fucking phobia soon. I keep seeing it. I'm so sick of seeing it. But in all seriousness, we're taking the piss. You know, good on you. Good grand
Well, what's
final.
yours, Nick? What's yours, Nick? What's yours, mate?
Right, I was just going to get to mine. All right. Besides 2015, my favorite grand final, bro, I really love the 2016 grand final between Cronulla versus Melbourne. Two really physical, tough sides going at it. Cronulla's first premiership in 50 years. Bro, the crowd was going berserk. The town. I just feel it was a long drought. They never won a comp. They did it. It was amazing. A great moment. I loved it. I thought it was great. Even though Paul Gallen's a pain in the ass on television, you got to admire he was a fantastic player, even though he was a bit of a grub. You know, Ben Barber getting his redemption from 2012 after having the year of his life that year. Jack Bird played with a broken handle, broken wrist, whatever it was. That was remarkable. You know, I'd say besides the 2015 one, the 2016 Sharks Storm Grand Final was outstanding. A grand final that never, ever gets mentioned, which I don't understand why it doesn't get talked about. The 2004 grand final between Sydney and Canterbury was a fucking cracker. It was low scoring. It was tough, physical. You had the likes of Marco Mealy, up against Michael Crocker and all these sort of players.
Yeah.
You had Bray Finasta versus Brad Fittler. You had all these incredible players up against each other. Great grand final. I love that game. I thought it was fantastic, even though it was such a low-scoring game. I loved it. I think it was 16-13 to Canterbury in the end, and there was a big tackle at the end there, which pretty much saved the Dogs' chances. Another grand final that doesn't really get talked about a whole lot, excuse me, is the 2000 and what was it? The 2006 grand final between Brisbane and Melbourne. Mate, 2006 final series. How on earth would Brisbane, how they win the comp that year? They finished in third position. They played the sixth-place Dragons in the first week of the finals. They got smashed at Suncorp, 20 points to 4. Then they had a home semi-final against Newcastle, beat them 50 points to 6. Then they went down to Telstra Stadium, which is now known as Stadium Australia, and they were down 20-6 at half-time against the Dogs. They come back to win, I think it was 37-20. And then in the grand final, Melbourne was short price favourites. Everyone thought they would win. And then Brisbane ended up betting him 15-8 on the back of Darren Lockyer, who should be a future immortal. He never gets talked about anything. So the Brisbane 2006
there was some controversy in that grand final too, but
was.
Slater. Yeah.
There was, but it wasn't as bad as some of the other grand finals, like 2013 and crap like that. But I really love that grand final. It's always good watching Melbourne lose a grand final. It always is. You just get out of your chance, start clapping. Now, a grand final that I would say wasn't – I wouldn't say it was an amazing game of football, but I love watching it, was the 2018 grand final when the Roosters smashed the hell out of the Storm, 21-6. Luke Keary had probably the game of his life. Mitchell Orbison at halfback. I mean, the Roosters did so well to beat Melbourne like they did. Billy Slater's last game, and when he should have got suspended from the NRL judiciary for that shoulder charge on Sasai Feki. I love the 2018 grand final. Luke Keary outplaying the Storm. Munster getting binned twice. Mate, there's nothing better than watching Melbourne lose a grand final when they got flogged. So I enjoyed that. Obviously 2008 was good as well, but watching the Roosters bash Melbourne like that, I thought it was fantastic. Before we move on, go on, Nathan.
Can I just say, if I have to, with all jokes aside, my actual favourite grand final, not because of the match quality, but just because of personal reasons and that, 2010. 2010.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I love that as well.
That was the first and only time I ever got to witness my Pop's team winning a grand final. And that memory will always stick with me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's bittersweet and that.
Yeah.
And fuck. And like it's always there with me and that. And that memory, that was the last time he ever saw his team win a grand final. And he sat for 11 in a row.
Well, I'll tell you what. 2010 grand final was great because Dragons won the comp and my dad goes for the Dragons and he was out of his seat. He was pumped up. Absolutely loving it. I'm going to ask you guys another question. Now, what is the worst grand final you've watched besides your own team? So, you know, me and Sam won't mention 05 and 2017, but what's the worst grand final you've ever watched? I'm going to ask you, NRL Vid 090, what was the worst grand final you've watched?
I've got about two in mind. I mean, 2013 wasn't enjoyable. I mean, I was back then in 2013, but I remember watching the game and I remember just there were a lot of dud calls and Shane Hayne in that game. I remember Shane Hayne just losing my respect for him because the calls he was making during that game were disgusting, I thought. And I'm glad he doesn't referee anymore because he's just terrible. And I think that's one I did not enjoy at all. I think that was I to this day I still believe we were robbed in that game. That's just my opinion. I think Manly were robbed in that 2013 grand. Good reasons why, but I've explained right now. But yeah, that was one I didn't enjoy. And another one I found pretty boring. I will say the 2017 grand final was pretty boring. Not because Cowboys lost, but it was because it was all Storm. Like, it was all Storm, that grand final. Like, I was watching it, it was Saul dominating. Curtis Scott was having a game of his life. Josh Adokar was good. To keep it from his last game, and it was just all Melbourne. I mean, I was hoping Cowboys would actually win because I was on the Cowboys bandwagon that year. As soon as Manly got eliminated in the first week of finals against Panthers, I was on the Cowboys bandwagon because I was hoping they'll go in the 2017 year. But unluckily, they lost to the Storm 34-6. So I was disappointed because I thought Cowboys would go really well in that grand final. Yeah, I know. I thought they'd go really well. Team Murray and Michael Morgan would be that premiership winning combination, but not to be. But that's one I found pretty boring. So they're mine too.
What about you, Sam? What about you, mate?
I hated last year's grand final, man. The refereeing standard was awful. It was pretty much over and done with from the 45th or 50th minute. I hated last year's grand final, mate. And just an honourable mention goes to the 2000 grand final that had Roosters and Broncos. That was low scoring. And it was a bit of a dour-old affair. But last year's grand final for me is something that, I've never rewatched since.
1 second.
Sure.
He's here. He's back. He's made an appearance.
G'day.
Everyone bow down.
G'day.
Bow down.
Oh, hang on.
Luther.
Hang on.
Oh,
Oh, man.
You're not worthy.
How are we, boys?
Come give me a kiss.
Oh, the
Right,
King,
see you
the King.
later.
I'm great.
See you, mate. I'm only joking.
How are we?
Hey.
What's going on?
I'm doing well, mate. How are you?
Not too bad. Not
Mate,
too bad.
we're just asking, what's the worst grand final that you've seen?
Worst grand. Oh,
The
you know
one.
what come close? What
Yeah.
would come close?
Yeah, what?
What do you guys mean in terms of worst? Like
the worst game
pissed
that.
me off the most.
Yeah.
Would have to be 2009.
Oh no.
I remember I was a little kid. When,
A bit more, brother.
which way? Oh,
Yeah, there we go.
Back. I'll get down like this.
Yeah, that's
I
better.
love the Footy one try.
Yeah, 2009 when they kicked that
Oh.
field goal to make it. Or was it
23, yeah.
16?
Oh.
I actually went outside. I had my little footy when I was young. I kicked it and smashed through the one of the windows in the house. I kicked it straight through.
Bang.
My mum came out screaming. Then I ran away from home for a couple of hours.
That's
man.
What's the best one you've seen?
Best grand. Oh, it'd have to be the Cowboys Broncos.
Oh,
2015.
yes.
The intensity of that match was crazy.
It was.
Good
I
call.
was there that
That's
day,
good.
man.
Were you? Oh,
Yeah, no, I bought a ticket that day. Drove from Canberra, left at 8 a.m. Got there. It was a muggy old bitch of a day in Sydney. Felt like you were in Queensland. And then
Yeah, it
drove
was.
home, stood there, saw Jason Taumalolo walk past me with the premiership in his hands. And then I got home at about 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was living with my mum then. And she opened up the door and I was like, they won. They won. It was so cool. And then I rewatched it all. And then I had to go to work at about 7 o'clock in the morning. So I had no sleep. I was so drained at 3 p.m. that day. And I had to call someone and say, hey, can you please come in and cover me for the last hour or two because I'm fucking dead. Obviously, I went back home and rewatched it for a third time. So, yeah, that was my day,
good.
man.
how?
So good,
I want
man.
to ask you a question.
Yeah, that's great.
How does it actually feel to win a grand final? Because I don't know. How good is the feeling? Honestly, I think
When it happened, when he slotted the field goal, I didn't scream. I didn't say a word. I just blinked. I went, oh my God, they did it. And because I was sitting in between Brisbane Broncos supporters, I didn't feel like giving him the finger going, fucking get that one up, yeah? But yeah, no, I just went silent and I walked down that spiral ANZ Stadium has. And obviously when I drove home, I was screaming at the top of my lungs and singing all the songs out of the top of my lungs. But when it first happened, I didn't say a word. Like I just was so shocked that it actually happened, and I was there to see it. Didn't know what to do with myself, mate. Yeah. But Para, man, they're in it this year. I honestly firmly believe that they're in it this year, man.
Okay.
They are.
I think if somehow we win this year, I think I will cry probably for about 2 hours. Then I'll probably party for probably about a month without sleeping.
Yep.
It probably will be in the Luther King. My life will be complete. I can die a happy man.
Oh!
I'll come over.
Facts. That's one of my. That's on the bucket list. Eels to win. I need to see a premiership. Will I ever see one? I don't know.
Well, I got a question for you. Now, mate, you can say whatever you want. This is my show. What will happen this year if you get to the finals? You play Melbourne, and Melbourne win because of a controversial decision in the final minute. Like, for example, what if it's Parramatta, say 24-22? There's, say, 10 seconds to go, and Melbourne throw a 2-meter forward pass or something, and they win the game, and Melbourne win. And Felice Kafusi scores the try.
Felice Kafusi. Felice Kafusi. What I'd do, I'd go into my savings account that I opened up in Commonwealth. I'd book a ticket to Melbourne. I'd go down there and I would personally take Kafusi to his grave.
Yeah. Yes, mate. Yeah. I reckon Parramatta, they're going to take on Melbourne again in the semis, mate. Whether it be the first, second, third, or even grand final day. For Parramatta to get to the grand final this season, man, they got to go through Melbourne at one stage, man.
Do you think it's a guarantee that we'll have to play them in the finals?
Not a guarantee in the first week, but if they get past that first week and make it to a preliminary, I think just because if Melbourne, in my opinion, will be the minor premiers come the end of the year, and I think Parramatta will be 5th. So that would probably they're in that sort of bracket where I think that makes them, if Parramatta and Melbourne get to that stage, they face each other in a preliminary or in fact in a grand final. So and like I think those two clubs have had like 5 finals games against each other, man.
Yeah, dude, we
had a few of them.
We rarely beat Melbourne. Even when we beat them in round 2, I was shocked. I was like, I couldn't believe that.
That was a good game, though. That was a good win, though, man.
Yeah,
that was a
good match when he tried. Yeah, it was, and then Opacek almost stuffed up because he gave him a penalty at full time.
That's right. I remember
Tom
that.
Opacek, he's probably the worst center I've ever seen in my life.
fucking Ryan Morgan was better.
Yeah,
get Ryan Morgan back. Where's Ryan Morgan?
Message me, Ryan Morgan. I might say, please come back to Para.
Yeah.
What do you reckon about Para, mate? So, like, what do you think they need to do?
Yeah, look, I think for us to go all the way, I think Jennings was a huge loss. I think we need an experienced, explosive outside back. I like Wagga Blake next to Sevo, but I think we need on the right side. I think we need
Dunster.
Another centre. I think our bench is good, but this might sound controversial, but I want to see someone come in for Papali'i. I want Papali'i to come off the bench and explode and kill everyone because we need that impact off the bench.
That is fair.
But when it comes to finals, we need Moses to not overplay his role like he tries to do. He just needs to do his good, has his good kicking game. We need Dylan Brown to run the ball. We need our halves to gel, and then we just need Gutherson to explode and our forwards to lay the platform.
Champion Video has just written in the chat something that's interesting to me. Mate, would you take a risk on James Roberts?
Yeah.
Would you take a risk with him? He's better than Obachek.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the Bulldogs have got Duffy for a year, so why not? And you got to remember, too, the Tigers, they just pulled the England centre, Gildard, and they've got Talao there, who apparently is one of the future players. And they got Mamalo there with Noffa and Dane Laurie's fullback. So maybe Roberts is on the market. Would you have James Roberts?
Yeah, I would. I'd take James Robertson on a 1-year deal.
For example, sorry, Nick. For example, you'd have Bryce Cartwright start, and you'd have Papali'i coming off the bench.
Yeah, that's what I'd do.
Yep.
Because I think Cartwright's been bloody good. He needs to stop kicking the ball, though. I don't know. what the goal is there. But we need an explosive player to come off the bench like that come finals.
True.
In just motor, because remember, was it round one we played Broncos?
Yeah.
He came off the
Yes.
bench and killed their entire forward pack. He made about 260 meters off the bench.
Oh, he did.
Like, wow,
He did.
Yeah, he did that in Darwin as well. Yeah.
Yeah, the Darwin game, that was a good one. That was his best game of his life. I think he scored 2 tries off the bench or something. Remember that game?
Something like that. Yeah.
He had a blinder. What about with Para? Obviously, you've lost to Penrith, you've beaten Melbourne, you've beaten Roosters, you lost to Souths, and you've lost to Manly. You've only beaten 2 of the real big sides so far. You've beaten the Roosters, who have got injuries, as we know, and you've beaten Melbourne. Do you think Para will sneak into that top 4 come finals? Because here's the thing. Melbourne will probably finish first. If you can finish in 3rd position, you have to win that first final and hope Melbourne win as well, and then you can avoid Melbourne by that. Because first plays 4th, second plays 3rd. If first beats 4th, first goes to the prelim, 4th plays the winner of 5 versus 8, and then the winner of the semi-final game plays 2nd versus 3rd. So here's the thing, right? If Para get 5th, if Melbourne win that first final, Melbourne are through to the prelim. And then you play the loser of 1 versus 4, which could be Manly. If you beat Manly, then you play 2nd or 3rd, which could be Penrith or South.
Yeah.
So there is a way that you can avoid Melbourne.
It's going to be tricky though, isn't it?
You got to try and avoid Melbourne as best you can because they're a nuisance, bro. I mean, in 2015, Cowboys, we lost the Brisbane first final. Then we flogged Cronulla. Then we had to play Melbourne, which everyone thought was impossible. We killed them. We murdered them. So Melbourne are beatable. You just got to get it right. I mean, here's the thing with Melbourne. Everyone talks about them being a top 4 side. They are a top 4 side, the best team in the comp. Trust me, I see weakness in Melbourne. You just got to target that side with George Jennings. Go to their all game. Take Kafusi out. Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake. Someone take Kafusi out.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Get a knife. Someone get a knife and just as they make a tackle, just shank them.
I hate him. Please.
Right.
Someone take him out. He gets away with anything.
Fucking.
Oi, round 2. He took out Ryan Mason for 6 weeks.
Yeah, he only got 2 weeks.
And then
That little grin on his face.
Yeah.
Oh.
Magic round, he punched Corey Norman in the face. No penalty, got away with it. And then the other week, he did something else which got under my skin.
Cheers, Jeffrey.
And then what was it? The late shot in Sam Walker the other week, and he got away with that as well. Mate, Felice Kafusi could stab someone with a fork in the leg and get away with it. That bloke's a fucking joke. Someone take him out, please. Someone just shoulder charge the bastard and give him a receipt.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of him.
So
Shank him.
on that then, and this is with all due respect to the other clubs, but this bloke up above me needs to send an email to his club and say when they take on Melbourne, maybe in the semi-finals, I think Manly are that side capable of getting under the skin of Melbourne and having Cameron Munster be that grub that we know he can be. And I think that's when they can crack him. And Jason Saab and I think it's Harper, I think they would be facing George Jennings and Remus Smith. And I think
No,
is it the other way around? Is it the other way around?
Brad Parker and Ruben Garrett.
Side?
Yeah. Parker and Garrett.
Parker and Garrick are probably a better combination as well.
That's it.
Over the top of Smith and Jennings. Yeah, definitely, man. True. In any event, Manly are probably that club that can probably get rid of Melbourne, I reckon, if it were to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
I think so.
We're talking about Obelchek being bad. Brad Parker is so shit. I've never rated him.
He's so stale.
Yeah.
Never rated him.
I think Brad Parker's a top 5 wanker in the NRL.
Yeah, I actually don't mind Brad Parker this year, man. He dropped the ball. He dropped the ball the other night. But I think
He's okay.
I don't mind him this season, man.
Really?
I'd rather Moses Sully in the centres, to be honest. I'd rather Moses Sully.
No.
Well, not when he's trying to catch a ball with his
Too
face.
lazy.
I wouldn't have him in the side. Hey,
He's too lazy.
yeah.
Oi, NRL Vid 090.
No, listen, Moses Sully's too lazy.
Bro, you can't be. Wait, Brad
Moses
Parker's.
Sully's lazy. I don't think. Yeah.
Wait, NRL Vid 090. You reckon Brad Parker's better than Moses Sully?
No, look. Yeah, this year, definitely. I mean, at least Brad Parker is not lazy in defence. I mean, Parker's actually a decent defender. I mean, he's not the fastest player, but his defence is always there. He's committed. At least he actually, plays with heart. Whereas Moses Sully, he just slacks off. Moses Sully's had a really bad year this year, in my opinion. I mean, I watched him closely, and I was hoping he cements that spot in the centres, but he hasn't. If he was playing better, he'd definitely already get a spot in the starting 17. But not obviously Parker and all that doing a much better job than him. Especially, doing a good enough job to keep Sully out of the team. So yeah, look, Sully's been too lazy this year. I mean, I like to see Dylan Walker back in the centres. I feel like Dylan Walker's a great centre on his day, but right now, I'd say Parker and Harper are the best option.
Fair enough. I mean, you'd know more than we probably would because you watch Manly closely. So.
Oi,
Well, yeah, I guess.
Kyle Lawton's got to go back to that jersey 14. He can't be in the back row anymore. I've had enough of it. He's been okay there, but
he's so small.
He needs to be in the dummy half or off the bench or something, I reckon. What do you reckon?
He looks like a tropical fish.
Tropical fish.
Tropical fish.
What?
Tropical
Tropical
fish. God.
So would you have Sully? So would you have Sully in the back row then? Because I think Sully, would you have him in the back row then?
That's interesting.
Bits?
Shoes on the back row.
I'll tell you what I'll do. Moses Sully in the back row at club level, or Moses Sully in the back row of his car having a McDonald's burger or something.
Oh!
Moses Sully.
Mate.
Which one?
So he's not getting a start with you blokes then. Hey, gee whiz.
I'd start Moses Sully over Brad Parker, but I think that probably won't happen because he's too busy having McDonald's in the back seat of his car. Won't happen. Who would know? Who would know with Moses Sully? Who would really know? I feel sorry for him. He just re-signed start of the year.
Did he?
I think he did.
Last year.
Last year. Remember he was gonna go to Dragons, and then and then he went no. I'll be loyal to Manly.
Yeah.
I'll play centre. Yeah, can't even get to 17 unless Turbo's out.
How long did he re-sign for?
2 years, I think.
Until next year.
There's one player that I want to take a shot at. George just said I'm taking a shot at Moses Sully. I am taking the piss out of him. I'm not being personal with him. I'll tell you who I will take a shot at. Ash Taylor.
Oh shit!
Here we
Oh,
go.
no, Nick.
Here we go.
Oh yeah, exactly, Nathan. Here we go. Yeah.
Ash Taylor.
Go on.
Ash Taylor is a failure of a player, and he should stop playing NRL football. He sucks. He is the worst 5'8" I have ever seen. I've seen some bad ones in the past. I would rather Daniel Mortimer and Josh McCrone come back and play 5'8". What's his name? Daniel Mortimer can actually do something. Look, Ash Taylor, honestly, ever since he left the Broncos, his career has just become a complete joke. The thing with Taylor is, last year there was people like Clarkey going on social media saying that Ash Taylor's better than Kieran Foran.
Clarkey.
I mean, honestly, Clarkey's a complete fuckwit anyway, so no one cares about Clarkey. He gives a fuck about what he has to say. He's a biased Gold Coast Titans supporter. When the Titans lose a game, on his Facebook post, he never says nothing when the Gold Coast lose. He just sits there and shuts his mouth in the corner of his fucking Gold Coast Titans zippy-tied jumper, that little cunt. So, and then you've got other guys on YouTube and social media who are going on about the Titans being this and being that. The reality is they're a failure of an organisation. They're a failure of a team. And their defence is so bad. Women's rugby league defence shows more courage than the Gold Coast Titans. There is no doubt about that. So that's Taylor, probably the worst 5'8" I've ever seen. You know, I've had arguments with Clarkey in the past. He's had to go at me, and you know, all I can say about Clarkey is just mind your own business, shut your fucking mouth, and when the Gold Coast Titans lose a game, actually respect the other team and show some fucking pride, mate. Because every time they lose, you never see a post online. You know, some of his comments, they're trying to stick up for the Titans. Some of his stuff he says online, like a couple of weeks ago when the Titans were getting flogged against, at halftime, Titans and Manly, Clarkey's like, oh, the Titans are in complete control, 24-8 over Manly, whatever he read. And then at full time, he didn't say nothing. So, mate, if you have a look at me, Cowboys got beat by Manly by 50-18. And I sat through that whole game and I took it on the chin. I went on Instagram. I congratulated NRL Vid 090 and Paddy G. But then you have guys like Clarkey who won't say fucking nothing when they lose. So, you know, I don't care if I get in trouble for saying that. I don't care. I really don't give a shit because it's my channel, my show. I'll say whatever the fuck I want to say. So, Clarkey, honestly, mate, pull your fucking head in. Take it when your team loses on the chin. Accept that your team's been a failure your whole fucking life, mate. He used to support Brisbane. He used to support Parramatta. So you know what, Clarkey? You're a biased scumbag, mate. Shut your fucking mouth and stop fucking complaining, you fucking bitch. I'm so sick of his shit, mate. I'm so sick of his shit. And you know what? I spoke to Rugby in my opinion not that long ago. Now me and him didn't really used to get along, but I'll tell you right now, Rugby, in my opinion, he does a really good job of his page. I really like him. I think he's a good bloke. As for Clarkey, you know, he's always, you know, he's walking around here thinking he's the rugby league fucking figure around here. Here's the thing about Clarkey that no one seems to understand. He goes on about his charities. He goes on about how he used to work in the fucking in the army or whatever he used to do in the past. Look. And Clarkey walks around here like he's the best rugby league content creator in the planet. Listen, Clarkey, if you're listening to this after I've finished talking, mate, listen. No one gives a fuck about your past, mate. No one cares. We don't care about your fucking defense, whatever it was you used to do. We don't care. We don't care about your lifestyle. We don't give a shit. We just go on social media. You see your posts. You think you're the fucking head of the rugby league community. Mate, anyone can do what you do, Clarkey. No one gives a fuck. You've got heaps of followers. Mate, honestly, nobody gives a shit. So I don't give a fuck about Clarkey. You know, I hope his page goes backwards. I couldn't care less about Clarkey. And, you know, he walks around and thinks he's the top rugby league dog around here. He thinks he's the fucking king of rugby league. Mate, you're king dick, mate. You're not the fucking king around here. This bloke's a fucking king. So no guy's talking being the king of the dog around here. So, you know, I'm just sick of Clarkey walking around like he's the top dog of rugby league around here. He's not the top dog of rugby league. Honestly, I come on YouTube. I try to entertain everyone, do rugby league videos, be as you know, I try to be as non-biased as possible. I try to be a consistent rugby league YouTuber. And, mate, Clarkey walks around here like he's the best rugby league YouTuber or rugby league fucking content creator on the planet. He's nothing, mate. He copies and pastes and puts his own words into it. Anyone can do what he does. It's ridiculous. He thinks he's top dog, mate. He's not top dog. Fuck him and his top dog shit. I've had enough of him. I've had enough of it.
Facts.
So, I've had enough, man. I really have. Yeah, and you know what? Everyone's going to say, oh, Nick, you're going too far. Clarkey's got 40,000 followers. Mate, it's not about the followers that matters, mate. It's about the content you're putting out. So, mate, honestly, if the virus wasn't so bad, I'd challenge him to a boxing fight. I really would. I'd love to fucking box fight for charity. Why not? Why not? I'm sick of this shit.
Easy. Fuck you.
I'm sick of it, man. Like, you know, last year when he had his top 10 list and that up, you know, we had fucking Taylor in front of 4, and I'm going, come on, bro, don't be a clown. And then he put me on Instagram, and he put on his Instagram story, and he's like, don't be like Nick. And I'm going, bro, don't go try and call me out and make me look like a dog, you fucking asshole. So, look, we had a chat. I messaged Clarkey privately, and I said, look, mate, hang on, bro, careful with that. I'm like, come on, bro, don't go putting me on your social media platforms. And then eventually he deleted it. So it's like, come on, man, don't try to call me out just because you're the top dog around here. You think you're the top dog.
He thinks he's a rugby league god.
He's not a rugby league god. He's a rugby league joke. I'd love to punch him in the face. I'd love to. In the ring, by the way, not like a physical fight in the street. In the actual ring. So
Yeah, legally. Yeah.
a legal fight, mate. If I could, I would love to do that. But with the virus situation, but the problem is, the fight will never happen. My weight is bigger than his.
He's too scared as well.
And you couldn't do it because it wouldn't be legal. But he's a fucking asshole. I can't stand him. Can't stand the bloke. Anyone else have a thing about
him easy.
I don't like?
I'll drop him easy.
I don't like him, bro.
I do.
You guys used to be
a couple of months ago, he blocked me.
No, me and Clarkie, we've never gotten on, bro.
What's your thoughts on him, NRL vids on Clarkie?
I think he's a fucking dickhead. I think he's just nothing more than a pathetic dumb cunt who just, gets stuff from Daily Telegraph, Sydney Morning Herald, the Guardian, whatever. He just gets the stories from there. Posts on his little Facebook and Instagram page. The cunt's a copycat, and I don't think he ever gives credit for it. It doesn't give credit to the rightful owners at all. The cunt's a dog, and I hope he gets himself fucked. What? I hope a trolley from out of nowhere comes down of nowhere and whacks him in the head. That's why I can't forget. Let's just hope that happens. Actually, hope that happens. So yeah, fucking watching, go and fuck yourself. You fucking you half Mary fuck. That's all I gotta say.
Well, you just blew the king away, Vince. He's
Oh,
gone.
must have, yeah.
Oh my god! Wow!
He's gone.
Wow! Far out. NRL vid 090. You are a stitch up, mate. That's fucking hilarious. Look,
I can't see
the other thing I want to mention about this as well. I just took a shot at Clarkie. People are gonna be dumb and message him about this. Look, here's the thing: we're only mucking around. Like we're not being serious. We're just mucking around. Look, personally, I'll be completely honest with you. I don't like Clarkie personally. I don't watch him. I don't follow him. I don't care about Clarkie. So everything I just said was literally a joke. So it was all mucking around. Nothing serious. Nothing serious about it. But the real thing is that I want to say, if me and Clarkie were the same weight and we could actually have a legal boxing fight for charity, I would accept the offer. But everything I said, all the shit mucking around, it's literally a joke. So anyone that's watching it, don't take it to heart. It's only a joke. It's literally only mucking around. So I hope no one takes it seriously, because that's not what the intention was. It was all a muck around. So I was just trying to entertain. I was trying to entertain a few of you guys for the corner post on Monday. I was trying to get you guys a bit of a preview, because on Monday I'm going to go on a huge rant about Liam Knight from Friday night's game. So be prepared for that on the corner post Monday night. But the whole thing with Clarkie was a joke, so I hope no one takes it serious. So let's just leave it at that. But oh man, where do we go from here, boys? That was pretty hilarious.
Oh
yeah, I'm not sure. Think of something to talk about now.
Oh,
well, how's the Barty party going? Do we know how Ash Barty's going at the moment?
Oh, the tennis, isn't it? Ash Barty.
I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
Let me go on
there.
Twitter and have a look.
Come on, Ash.
I know nothing about tennis at all, so I'm literally I got no idea. Hang on, let me have a look on Twitter.
On now.
I'll check it.
I think this is it.
Oh yeah, apparently it's
You know.
6-5, I believe, in favour of Ash Barty. Mate, I wouldn't have a clue.
is it?
I know
Okay.
nothing about tennis. I know nothing
Let's
about tennis.
go.
Are we still in the first set, are we?
But yeah, Barty's winning, I think.
Yeah,
mate.
must be. Yeah.
One set apiece.
I know nothing.
Set apiece.
I know nothing
Okay.
about tennis. I know absolutely nothing about tennis. Apparently it's a tie. So I've got no clue. Got no idea. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention as well, lads. Next Saturday night, the Nick from Australia late night footy show It will probably be at a later time, or it might be at an earlier time. Next week will be a shorter episode because next Saturday night at 11:30 p.m. it's the Super League Challenge Cup Grand Final between St. Helens and Castleford. 11:30 p.m. on Fox or KO. So I will be watching that for sure. So I'm not sure if the show will be earlier next week or will be later. I will let you guys know through the week. I've got to work out the time schedule and that. So next week the show might be from 10 to 11:20 or something. I'm not too sure, but next week will be probably a little bit earlier, and it will probably be a shorter show than tonight. So I'll talk more about that during the week because there's no way in the world I'm missing the Challenge Cup. It's a big, big event, and I'm pretty sure they're allowed to have a lot of fans in there. So I'll definitely be watching that.
I don't have a Super League team, man. I don't know who to. No, I don't have a Super League team, dude. I wouldn't know what sort of history is what over there, man. So I gotta, I don't know, do some studying, get some good.
Mate, it's a great competition, bro. There's so much.
Man.
It's a great competition, bro. I mean, you've got St. Helens, Wigan, Warrington, Leeds, Hull, Salford, Castleford. There's a lot of good teams there. So.
Like the only thing I know is Lachlan Coote is still playing over there at the moment. Dude, Lachlan Coote, man, I loved that dude.
Yeah, same bro. I loved him as well. I thought he was a great player.
Underrated, if anything.
What was I going to mention? The friggin' so that's on next Saturday night, 11:30 p.m. Challenge Cup, big deal, bro. It's definitely worth tuning into. I cannot wait for it. At the end of the year, the Rugby League World Cup. Now, if it goes ahead, I want to ask you guys this question: who do you think are the contenders? Obviously, Australia is the main threat, the team to beat, but besides Australia, who do you see pushing Australia in the Rugby League World Cup at the end of the year? Start with you, NRL Vid 010.
I'll start. Yeah, I reckon Tonga have a good chance this year. I like their forward pack. I mean, it's probably going to have Fanua Big, Ben and Mercer. Who else is there? I mean, I'm just trying to think. But anyway, it's going to be a really stacked forward pack, what they're going to have World Cup. And even their backline's not too bad either. You know, they've got a lot of talent in that backline as well. And I think Tonga, you know, they're a really good team. And obviously from 2019, they beat Australia. That was kind of a shock to everyone because everyone was expecting that you know, Australia would win easy, but not Tonga were, you know, the better side, and I think they'll go well again in the World Cup. Actually, they will Australia run for their money. I guarantee it. That's what I'm saying.
I got no idea what happened to Nathan. I got no idea, but. Anyway, Nathan, if you're still watching, mate, thanks for jumping on tonight, bro. We really, really appreciate you jumping on, bro. You did a really good job tonight, and so thanks for coming on, brother. Yeah, look, Sam, what do you think? Who do you think are the contenders this year besides Australia?
I completely forgot that the World Cup was on at the end of the year, mate. To be honest with you, it's going to be so difficult for Samoa and Tonga to sort of try and gel. Like I sort of mentioned with the Bulldogs for next season, it's going to be really hard for them to gel, and they need to have a friendly or something before the World Cup starts, because I don't think there's been an international for a year, maybe more for Tonga and Samoa and whatnot. So I think it's only going to be a two-horse race between Australia and New Zealand come World Cup time, mate, unfortunately, because if COVID, in a perfect world, if COVID never hit and Tonga were able to get those mid-season and friendly internationals under their belt, they'd be right up there. It'd be a three-horse race, maybe even a four-horse race if you have Samoa in there as well, man. So unfortunately, just because of the lack of training that they're all going to have, I think Australia are going to be absolute specials to take the cup.
Yeah, No, fair enough. That's a fair call. Obviously, the Rugby League World Cup is being played over in England this year, which is going to be very, very interesting. Obviously, Australia are the favourites, and I think they are the team to beat. But the team after Australia that I think are going to be the next contenders, I really think England are going to go a very long way this year. I think they were embarrassed in the Rugby League Nines when they had the international teams. I thought they were really, really embarrassed. They were shocking. Wayne Bennett was coaching. He had no idea. He had Blake Austin on the wing. I don't know what he was doing. It was a complete mess. Like I said, I watched the Super League. I know what goes on in England. I know the players that are eligible. I guess the issue is, are the NRL players going to be consistent enough to get the job done in the Rugby League World Cup at the end of the year? I guess we'll see what happens. But I think England are the second best team outside of Australia. I saw a few people talking about the Super League, how it's a shit competition and all this, and I'm going, well, they've got what they've got. They've done well with what they've got, and just let them go. They're doing their own thing, and they're doing a pretty good job. So I think Australia's the best. Then I think it's England, then probably New Zealand, then Tonga, and then Samoa. I think New Zealand are going to be very, very interesting. I don't know how the backline's going to look. The backline will probably be a bit weaker than what it has been in previous years. So, because RTS is not playing apparently, and then Tonga, well, I think Tonga's probably got one of the best forward packs if you look at them on paper. Fanil Blake, Tamalolo, Munok Basila, Pangai Jr., far out, Takiyaho. I think Tonga's got a better pack than Australia. Now, that might be a really big call, but I think Tonga's got a better forward pack than Australia do. And then you've got Samoa. I mean, if Brian Toto plays, Jerome Luai plays for Samoa, Samoa's got a lot of talent there. So I'd say they're probably the 5 main teams to watch out for. But after that, mate, Fiji are building a very, very good backline. I'm liking what Fiji's all about as well. I like Sivo, Kevin Nguama will be there, Ravalawa. Fiji are building to something really good as well. I think Brendan Wakem will be in the halves for Fiji. So it's going to be interesting. Papua New Guinea will be another one. I don't think they'll be great, but they'll be okay. But I'm looking forward to watching Cook Islands play. I want to see how they go, Cook Islands. That'll be real interesting.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Who else is in it? Scotland? Are they in the World Cup, Scotland?
I don't know. Might be continuing for it, but I'm not sure.
Do you guys rate England? Because everyone's writing them off. The games are going to be in England. Everyone's writing them off.
Admittedly, mate, I as I said before, I've completely forgot that the World Cup was happening at the end of the year. And thinking about it now, there is going to be that consistency of play. They're not going to be rusty. The England side, obviously. So yeah, it does make it another horse race. So there's definitely another horse in the race for sure with England. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Is Wayne Bennett coach again for England?
No, Sean Wayne's coach in England. He used to be the Wigan coach. Yeah, he's a great coach.
Okay.
Sean Wayne. I love Sean Wayne. I think he's a brilliant coach. But here we go. I just went on to it. The Rugby League World Cup 2021, the draw. So obviously they have 4 groups. So there's 16 teams. 16 teams in the Rugby League World Cup. These are the teams in the groups. So Group A is going to be very interesting. England, Samoa, France, and Greece. That's a pretty good group. I'm probably going to tip England to win that group. What about you guys? England or Samoa? Who wins that group for you lads?
I'll go Samoa.
Okay, yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Samoa.
What about you, Sue?
Bloody hell, that's a mouth-watering match, England versus Samoa. Bloody hell. I think I just got to go England. Just got to go different to NRL vids, mate. I'll go England.
Yeah, I agree. I think England will win that stage as well, but far out. England versus Samoa, bro. That could be a game that goes maybe like a 24-22 game or something. Last minute play of the game. Group B is Australia, Fiji, Scotland, and Italy. I think it's probably going to be between Australia and Fiji.
Oh,
I hope Scotland and Italy put on a great game, but Australia and Fiji, I think we're all going to go Australia in that one, I'm guessing. Australia and Fiji, we're all going
I'll go Australia, but I hope Italy come up. Come on, Italy, do us proud. Be the upset, be the underdogs, Italy. Come on. We have Italy.
Fair enough.
So is that your background, Vids, mate? You got some Italian in you. Right on.
Yeah.
Oh, right on, dude. No, I
Yeah.
think Australia win that. I think Australia win that quite comfortably, mate.
Yeah. I think Fiji can push Australia for like maybe 20 minutes and then they'll get smoked, more than likely.
Yep.
Group C. I don't see how this is fair at all. New Zealand, Lebanon, Jamaica, Ireland. For God's sakes, New Zealand will win that easily, but I think besides New Zealand, in that group, I think maybe Lebanon are probably the next best team. Maybe.
I think Ireland could be. Ireland could notch a win, possibly two. So that'll be interesting to see how they go, man. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so I take it we're all going New Zealand to win that stage. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And the
Kiwis,
final stage.
Kiwis.
Yeah, the final stage, Group D, Tonga, Papua New Guinea, Wales, and Cook Islands. Now, we're all going to pick Tonga to win that stage, but I'm telling you right now, Papua New Guinea versus Cook Islands will be such an entertaining game, bro. That'll be...
Dude, that's a sick group, man. That's a sick group.
It's probably my favourite group besides the England-Samoa one, bro.
Yeah.
I love
that's
that
a sick group. No, Papua New Guinea, man. Don't sleep on Papua New Guinea, mate. If the security and if they somehow updated themselves over the next decade or so, I'd love to see a rugby league team in Papua New Guinea, man. It'd go off deluxe. It'd be sick. But yeah, PNG versus Cook Islands. Tonga versus, who was the fourth team? Tonga, Cook Islands, Papua New Guinea, and Wales. I'd probably say they'd fall at the bottom of the pack, Wales. I guess I'd be going for Tonga, but PNG, man, the old hunters, they'll be in it to win it for sure. Yeah. Yeah,
bro. The Rugby League World Cup at the end of the year will be very interesting. You know, that last stage, bro, Group D, I can see Papua New Guinea versus Cook Islands as like a 38-34 sort of game, like really, really entertaining game. And Wales used to be very competitive for a very long time, but that sort of dropped off a little bit. I'm hoping Wales can get better, but it's going to be interesting to see how the Rugby League World Cup goes at the end of the year. I probably, if I had a favourite potential matchup for the groups, then I think England versus Samoa and Tonga versus Papua New Guinea would be awesome games. If they do get to play against each other, it would be such a good game. But it's going to be such a good time. The first game, apparently, according to the Rugby League World Cup page on Google or on the website, is supposed to be on the 23rd of October on a Saturday, where England plays Samoa, believe it or not. That'll be a cracker.
Sick. Well, let's hope it goes, man. Yeah. Let's hope it rolls ahead, mate.
I hope it does too. I really hope it does. I really hope it does go ahead because it'll be absolutely magnificent. But anything you guys want to mention tonight before we get on out of here?
We just we missed international footy this year, didn't we, boys? It was sorely missed. I know that Warriors and RoyalFanatics had something to say about it. So just a quick shout out, I suppose. Champa Videos, I think it's his birthday today. Happy birthday. I think it's his birthday today.
It is,
yeah. So happy birthday to you, old mate.
He was saying that, yeah. He was saying that. Well, happy birthday,
shout out
Champa.
to Champa Videos, mate. Champa Videos, if you're watching, because I'm pretty sure he's drinking tonight. I've got no idea. Mate, happy birthday. Have a fantastic day. And hopefully the Tigers can win for him next weekend against the Broncos. But I guess we'll see what happens when we all do our tipping video next week. But that might do it for the show tonight, lads. I think it went really well. It's just gone over the 2-hour mark. Big thank you to NRL Vid 090 and Sam Rebel for coming on tonight. As always, really appreciate you lads for jumping on, and make sure you guys go and check out the YouTube channel of NRL Vid 090. Smash the subscribe button to him, and big thank you to Sam Rebel. Go and subscribe to him as well. He's been doing a lot of great things on YouTube lately, and he's been joining me in a few videos. So go and check out his channel as well, lads. Really do appreciate it. But guys, that's it for Nick from Australia Late Night Footy Show, episode number 2. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night for the Sunday afternoon football review between Cronulla and New Zealand. Until then, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and